Good morning.
Good morning,
to
Andy.
you.
Good morning to everybody tuned in to Power 102. This is an interesting setup you have going here, Andy. They have you, I mean, they're testing your hair. They're testing you. They're testing your commitment to this course of action.
It's the capacity for being adaptable.
Absolutely. It's a test. I see it as a test, and you're doing well. You all are doing well. I heard that you mentioned the PEP market.
Yes.
Yeah, it's part of our fundraisers, a combination of things that we do to raise funds for the party, pay the bills, keep the lights on. We don't have the deep pocket financiers. We don't court the deep pocket financiers who come with a quid pro quo and frustrate the economy and give us the corruption that we all know about so much. So a PEP market is basically an opportunity for vendors, small business people, restaurant owners, home bakers. Janice, just about anybody. Janice takes a booth. We had a PEP market already. We had one last month. Janice takes a booth and
Yeah, because I do handmade jewelry.
Okay.
So I use the opportunity to display my work. And it's all handmade and usually it's just one piece. So, you know, it's unique in that respect.
Yeah.
But
So is it the response you got from, when was the last one?
The last month.
Last month.
Last
Yeah.
month,
The-
correct.
The market.
Yeah, it was very good. We also have quite a few people who are into the organic products,
Mhm.
like organic soaps, you know, and also doing the organic coconut.
But the intention is that it started to give PEP members who are out of work an opportunity to raise some funds.
As well.
Because being a small business person in this country right now, I mean, this is not the healthiest environment to be a small businessman. I heard an announcement waiting outside, and it sounded like an ad that we're all in this together, and that's a sad thing. We're all in this.
You know where that came from?
And we're all in this, boy, and it's sad that we're in this. It's sad. And I'm standing up outside there. There's a brief live video because I knew you're talking to Clarence Ambarat, and I'm saying we have a government who has no clue. You're 4 years in office. We have no idea what's consumption data, what's the plan, what's the goal, what we're growing. What are your food policies? We don't want to hear if you're growing frangipani and bougainvillea. We want to hear what's your food policy for the people. The cost of living is ridiculous in this country. Nobody's talking about realigning the inflation gap, the cost of living gap with the wage gap. People are outside there not knowing how they're going to survive day to day, and it's getting worse. A lot of issues outside there that the minister himself could have given. Entrepreneurial farming is now a growth pole globally. In Germany, we spoke last time I was here, the 30 and 40-story buildings that are just 40 stories of farms. There are ways to do what we need to do to make this country food self-sufficient. I don't know why we're not doing it. Since they closed down Carry Limited, I've been asking why we're not repurposing all of the resources, land and otherwise, to making Trinidad and Tobago food self-sufficient.
Yeah, different people have different ideas and different approaches to these things. But he was talking about distributing, well, it comes down to that, distributing licenses for people to operate these.
But that's a PEP policy.
That is to me, because I heard a bit of it in my car coming here. And I just went blue because, he's talking about people who were supposed to get land almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
The current government has been in office for the last almost 4 years. And now coming down to a general election, you are talking about dealing with this issue?
Carrot on a
What
stick.
happened before?
Carrot on a stick. Bait the
Why
people.
did we still have people out there still waiting to get the land that they were, they were promised
Yeah, but if you say
to work on?
in 4 years, he's trying to deal with matters that went back 30 years.
Yeah, but it's not no.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah, but
no.
Andy, the point has to remain. It's not about sharing out land like jubs and jelly beans. I don't want to know that you're sharing out lands to friends and family. 2 different political parties gave one financier of both parties 100 acres each. I need to know that we have a food plan. That's what the average person needs to know. Colony lands and public lands are supposed to be given out with a purpose that contributes in a country this small, where land is a scarce resource. We can ill avoid to be wasting that resource. We're building strip malls and gas stations and cineplexes on food-bearing land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, you're talking, and he is talking and putting out releases. And I know that it is to entice votes. And I know that
So what do you mean? What do you think these things should be done?
and I learned this morning
yeah, but it
actually.
says that this person who applied for this piece of land 20, 25 years ago, 50 years ago could get it. And what he's doing is making that happen.
I want to tell you that the cabinet of this country has been a criminal organization for far too long, have made
What do you
decisions
mean by that?
that they've contributed either to the advancement of criminality or failed their responsibility to address the issue of criminality, white collar corruption in this country.
Yeah, but we didn't
And so
discussion
if you tell me
Yeah.
that there are documents and papers that people have sat and agreed on,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know that that is in fact in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago.
You mean what? Which to give them out or to sit on there?
I think that we need as a nation to have a frank and honest assessment of where we are and where we need to go. And it cannot be like crabs in a barrel climbing over each other, where all of us together and then I find out you sharing land, I get my land and I hush. I watch a politician who fought.
It's either that is acceptable or it's either that is legitimate or not. If
Well,
And
why
they-
is it being done now?
if people
When
apply
elections are
And
coming
an
up?
inducement for a vote is a criminal act.
But I don't want to see it like that. I can't. But I don't. Want
But I want to assess it. I want to know HDC has been
But
used.
I don't want to be in the position of defending.
But we need to speak this.
Yeah.
We
But
speak
we
this on the
speak-
pavement. Why we don't speak it on the radio?
Yeah, but this is not the frame for the discussion. The discussion is to talk about what you all are doing.
Yes,
why
you're
are you all
correct.
here to
You're
talk about this
correct.
family market, the
Correct,
farmers
correct.
market, and
Well-
what's the benefit of that to yourselves? And the
Right.
people?
No, but everything
And is that-
dovetails to the fact that so many of our people now have to find creative ways to feed their families.
Yeah, that was always the case. When I was-
But why should it be though in a country with this much potential, Andy? Why should it be?
But that's
If we
subject.
demonstrate the power of people coming
But that's
together
subject
in a
for
pet
this
market,
time.
no, well, bring it back to the pet market.
Yes.
If we demonstrate the power of people, buyers and sellers, to work in an environment where it is possible for those who need to earn a living can earn a living, providing a service to those who needs to buy and obtain goods and services, then that's supposed to be the marketplace.
And this is what you all are.
Yes,
These
this
kind
is
of
what-
We are doing
Our
one a month.
initiatives.
We do one a month.
Correct,
Seeking
correct.
to unleash.
Correct. And also we're going to be looking to have farmers as well come and sell their produce at the market
Yeah.
at reasonable prices. So
By the time farm vegetables and fruits reach the grocery, it's passed through 4 levels of profiteering. That a mango that grows on a hardy tree that doesn't need your watering or your fertilizing to bear season after season, that drops from the tree whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
ends up in a grocery $5, $8, and $10 for one.
Right. And so the market experience is
Yes.
a way to.
It's our test.
to
Proof of
avoid
concept.
that, to-
It's a proof of concept. We intend that if the Progressive Empowerment Party comes to government, to provide proper farmers market like you see in Germany and Barcelona, other first world countries, where you could go and interact directly with the farmer. You know the saying, closer to the tree, healthier for me.
Yeah.
We just had a conversation with a Minister of Health talking about obesity and why we have obesity. And he didn't also stop to realize government has done nothing. No government has done anything in this country the past 30 years in my living memory to address the issues of healthy lifestyle, nutrition, exercise, diet. We pay lip service there.
Okay, well, I was just about to say that you could describe what they have done as nothing, but they've always been programs promoting and supporting people's.
And the honest question, we live in Trinidad and Tobago that has enough well water to run this country. We get enough rainwater per season to run the country 10 years. We're surrounded by the sea and there are fully automated desalination plants that you could operate, that people should never have a water problem in this country. I want to contrast and compare Trinidad to Dubai. It sits in the middle of the desert and doesn't have a water problem. And this country's only problem is mismanagement by corrupt governments fronting for a contract mafia that needs nothing to work so that they could profiteer off of all of these things.
Right, and the problem with that is that there are those people who continue to vote for one or the other of these
Lack of
parties
choice.
that have become-
Lack of
What do you mean
choice.
lack of choice.
Lack of choice. And the lack of choice. In 1986,
How many parties are
No, wait.
registered with the
30,
elections and boundaries?
30.
Right, so when you say lack
30,
of
but there's a lack of real choice.
What do you mean?
Because some of those parties that registered with the Elections and Boundaries Commission are parties in name only. You just had an election. You know what the Elections and Boundaries Commission should do? You just had an election in this country, by election. Any political party that is on your roster that didn't show up for the election, strike them off. Start over. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
But the last government was
and
made
the-
up of 5 parties.
Wait,
There were
or-
5 political
Okay, but you don't buy a drill to have a drill. You buy a drill to make a hole. You don't form a political party just to have a political party. You form a political party to contest elections. The Elections and Boundaries Commissions should have a responsibility to perfect their roster. And every single election that comes along, if a political party does not contest the election, strike them.
So there's going to be an election
Coming up.
this year for local government. Is it? And there's-
That's not going to
and
happen.
there's going to be an election.
There's going to be a general election. There's not going to be a local government election. All this we in this together nonsense. The last NACTA poll told the
That's
PNM,
your prediction.
but Andy, you read the same NACTA poll I read.
That there's not going to be a local government.
I don't think so. I'd be surprised if they tried it. I think the referendum that a local government would be against this government would annihilate them at the general
What I'm
elections.
getting to is that there is the Progressive Empowerment Party, there's the Movement for Social Justice, there are the
COP, NAR, they're the litany of smaller parties, yes.
the DPTT and other parties. Do you think those parties are going to contest the election?
I'm-
And if they don't, they should be struck off.
But they should have been struck off for not contesting the last one. And I didn't even have a political party in 2015 and I contested the election. If you're serious about politics, you can't be in it for all noise.
Yeah.
You do something. Don't just talk. We have so many people talking, so many silos. And I want to say this with as much respect as I could. There have a lot of Kirkwaits and Afra Raymonds and Paulo Curdahans outside there talking a good talk. But when the people look to you, you tell them PNM is nothing, UNC is worse. Okay, we're looking to you. What are you offering? Because if you have nothing to offer, what is the point of the conversation? You understand what I'm trying to
Yeah,
tell you?
and that's a different kind of discussion. There are those people there are more than them. There is
Multiples. I can't call name. Dr. Benjamin Bratt. Dr. Bratt, I read what he writes. Robin Montano, good writers.
Yeah.
Martin Daly, good writers. But if you continue to pull at this, at some point, you're going to frustrate the population. You're telling them that the 2 existing major parties are not a correct option. But you're not identifying for them or supporting something that you think is a correct option. So what exactly are you telling them? What are you saying? That our politics can't work because you're not working it? The Progressive Empowerment Party on the 23rd of March, Saturday coming, at 5 p.m., we're opening our 4th office. Our 4th office. I see the UNC open a regional office. We make regional office fashionable now.
Which is where?
We're opening on 10th Avenue, Barataria at 5 p.m. 6 weeks from then, we're opening our East Regional Headquarters, Tumpuna Road, it's ready to go. We're opening in Tumpuna Road, Arima. We're working on Central, we're working on Tobago. This party is on the ground, wheels up and working.
And we also have an office in New York as well.
In New York.
Correct.
So let's talk about those things in terms of preparing you all to run in the. You're saying there's not going to be a local government election, right?
We don't
If
have-
there's a local government election, the Progressive Empowerment Party will be fielding candidates in all
Yeah.
regional corporations, but in all municipal corporations.
General election.
But we are front and center in the general elections. We have caretakers and shadow MPs. We've been advocating, we've been pushing people to front. We've been giving them FaceTime on whatever media we get. We have a radio show on 104.7 between 9 and noon, Mondays and Wednesdays now. Thank you very much, my lord.
Yeah, I listened to
And
the
he's
last
a critical thinker.
This is the last one. We talked about everything on governance, health, education, works, welfare.
And these are things that need to be addressed.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So
Has to
I'm
be
just
addressed.
demonstrating to
We
you that
absolutely. We're starting a TV show. I mean, we're negotiating some airtime with Gael, and we're going to be doing an every evening 1-hour show, talk show. I hope to have you as a guest, as you've had me so many times. Come and discuss the issues from a critical level, because we need to get into the problem-solving business. We
So
can't be in the
how
political
is-
bacchanal business much longer.
How is that development then and entrenchment of yourselves and your name in the public mind being supported?
Received?
Yeah.
Because-
we're talking about supported first. How do you so it's initiatives such as the market the
Pep market, but we have to. We have pep market, we have a curricue every year, we have a barbecue. You know, some people would hear that.
Family day as
With
well.
a family,
Yeah.
people would hear that and almost want to ridicule it. But this is how politics, this is how political movement is supposed to
Yeah.
be funded.
Yeah.
If you have hidden finances, putting money in your party, what you telling the people and what you really stand for are two different things. Because who pay the piper call the tune?
But you're not saying that you're impervious to, or
The-
you are closed to financing from people who see what you're doing. And what
Absolutely not. We will accept money from everybody as long as they understand that it comes with no strings attached.
Yeah.
You could give us $100 million. We need every cent we get. From every $5 to every $10 and everything that we get. But people have to know. And people have come and had to leave the Progressive Empowerment Party when they realize that we're not paying lip service to things like what we stand for, the philosophy and the ideology of the party. We believe that a political party is needed right now like a rising tide to lift all boats. Trinidad is in trouble. We get past the bacchanal noise of carnival and we want to start talking the bacchanal noise of elections without addressing the issues of the people. We're going to wake up a day in this country and everybody knows history will repeat itself in Trinidad. We will wake up a day when the people will have worse than Venezuela.
You're not wishing that.
I am fighting so that not be our situation. Look at this is my Sunday morning. I was getting dressed to go to Maracas and have shark and bake around my mouth. Janice called me and said, Andy, have us on the show today. Maracas plans
And
change.
that is my way of supporting.
Absolutely.
Of course, but that
Absolutely.
we have-
Andy, there are some shining lights amidst the madness of the media blackout, and you are one. We've been repeatedly on your show. I could never not acknowledge that. That's why we took such pride the last time. I tell Janice, I said to bring a next jersey. We have so few things. We have so few things to give away.
And
But
I
we
will tell you that there are people who saw it. I mean, my sister-in-law in New York saw it before.
Really?
and if she wants one, Janice will organize one for your sister-in-law.
What is this? What is my friend trying to do? With parties? It's nice to wait. I excluded it. What happened? But I have no problem.
They want to know if you jump ship? No. No. Andy safe and secure.
I belong to Trinidad. And as I say that to people, yesterday I met a man who said he was last night in the supermarket, he was asking me about elections. I don't make no kind of predictions. And he said to me, well, I thought you were a staunch supporter of the UNC. He said, I support all political
Correct.
parties in Trinidad.
And the man told-
anybody who signs up. You know,
A man-
because I have friends all over. If you come to me with a barbecue ticket to support your party, I buy it.
buy it.
You know, that's how anybody who signs up with the EBC and decides to, that's how they want.
Put your foot in the ring.
Yes.
But Andy, I had to tell somebody on our radio show, we have a whole hour of call-ins, and I had to tell him who called in to tell me he's PEP till he's dead. I said, that is not what we're about. We don't want anybody saying that. Trinidad first, Trinidad and Tobago first, country first, the red, white, and black. Andy, when we step back and look at our country, you read the news this morning that the Petrotrin fiasco that created the Paria subterfuge, Paria is now for sale.
It is.
Paria is for sale. Paria fuel is for sale. The refinery is for sale. So it was all
But
just...
the fine is also always up for sale.
No,
Like,
Andy,
that's
they
just
said
one.
it wasn't. Andy, there was so much double speak, so much
Well,
call and response, so much cloak and dagger
But it
that
was
nobody
also
knew.
they were offering it to you,
And
to
they're
you and-
beating the people into submission with this nonsense, though. Because what is going to earn us our living wages as a country? Where's the money going to come from? After they finish, tax every citizen into poverty. What then? Where's the income? Corn curls from Sunshine Snacks? We don't want a pitch lake anymore. Nobody can answer who controls the pitch lake, where that money goes. We've lost our oil, our gas, our refinery. We've shut Caroni down. We have the number one cocoa in the world, but we don't grow it. We have the number one honey in the world, but we don't care about it. Second hottest pepper used
No,
to
no,
make...
I think the Grenadians will claim they have the best honey in the world, because that's bad.
Who?
The Grenadians, they big fine.
No, we just won a prize. You didn't have that information. Toko honey is regarded as the best honey in the world now. And I asked them what those bees feeding on. Toko honey. And I went to this green market in Santa Cruz. And there's a lady who has honey. She said they have apiaries all through the country.
Yeah.
And she gave me a taste of Toko honey, and I'm telling you something, it real nice. Even if you don't like honey,
We make superior honey in different, it's dressed in carcass in Chatham and elsewhere.
absolutely, yeah. But all I'm saying to you is take a look at this the Moruga scorpion pepper. The number one use for the Moruga scorpion pepper is in the creation of pepper spray canisters. Pepper spray canisters, all the armies, all the police services, all everybody, and it expires in 3 to 6 months depending on the weather. So you know that this is a growth pole. Why we not growing Moruga scorpion pepper for export? Why we not in the pepper spray manufacturing business? Look at the end-to-end business that is Hershey's in Pennsylvania or Tabasco in New Orleans. Trinidad and Tobago.
When you say that those kinds of things to people, what do people say?
They first a light goes on in their head and then they get angry. They get angry. When you tell when you get Trinidadians to understand, that you show them pictures of Dubai and they say, but Dubai have more oil than us. Dubai tells you less than 5% of their construction had to do with oil and gas. They made their money off port services. Trinidad and Tobago is the only Caribbean territory outside of the hurricane belt, and we not dominating the region between North, Central and South America, a stone's throw from the Panama Canal when 90% of all shipping must pass. We're not in the port services, shipping turnaround business.
And
Singapore.
that is an ambition where we want to go.
But how could we want? But how could we want to go and not start? I mean, there's a lot of private sector money globally that would invest in this. Look at Singapore.
What do you think is holding it back?
Corruption.
Last government said
Corruption.
this government is saying they're doing that. That's why
Mismanagement and corruption. Mismanagement and corruption.
They wanted to do that with a port that is designed for Labre. To be this.
I think the port that is designed for Labre is designed to take as much of our pitch as they could. China is building, 6,000 miles of road a month?
But they say that part of what that port is to do is to provide these services to do business, to compete with the Panama Canal and so.
But Andy, Singapore. I just
Yeah.
want to use Singapore example. You know Singapore got independence same time as us. The whole Lee Kuan Yew argument everybody raises. Singapore is half the size of Trinidad and Tobago. They're a first world developed nation. They never had oil and gas. Shipping port services. That's what the economy built on. You're trying to tell me we can't have a conversation with Singapore? We can't bring Singapore to Trinidad?
We've had several. There was a team that came down.
So you just said to me, but you just said to me, the last government and this government, that's 10 years.
There's something called Singapore Inc., right? Singapore Incorporated, where they're trying to export their model to other countries, and there were people here at the Hyatt who were talking. They were invited.
But Andy, you just said 10 years have passed, and I know that Patrick Manning was talking about it too. But we're talking a lot. I remember when we saw.
Well, that was the point of my question. When people hear you talk these things, do they not say that we've been hearing these things from different kinds of people?
Because we've identified, when we talk cruise ship tourism in Tobago, two of our senior members, Michelle Davis and Sean Sunarine, are shipping and tourism, cruise ship executives. They've been in management in cruise ship for a long time. Michelle Davis lectures at Lockjack. In fact, she lectured there today. When we talk cruise ship expansion in Tobago, you don't have to own and control everything. You could do 3-person agreements between the cruise operator, private sector to build the marina, government provide the land. All you need to do is provide the land. And you could have 10 and 15 ships docking in Trinidad at a time. Tobago is supposed to be the #1 tourist destination in the world. There is no other territory anywhere as beautiful as Tobago. Our Pigeon Point jetty became synonymous with tropical destinations. Our brain coral, our Oldwood, our nylon pool, the only one of its kind in the world. And
what I'm trying to get at is when you say those things to people out there, do they not say, well, we've heard all this before, why should we feel that you would do what the others said they did?
Because listen, if the last husband you had tell you he wouldn't beat you and he beat you, and then the next one say he wouldn't beat you and he beat you, you still have a responsibility to yourself to find somebody else. You still have a responsibility. Is there a chance that the third one will beat your possibility? But you know for sure the first two sharing licks.
How do you, let me ask you, Janice, how do you as PR of the party do what you do in order to get people to see that, what he's saying there? How do you bring people to this party? And how much of a challenge is it?
Well, it is very challenging because there are people who are very loyal to the parties that they support. But as Philip has indicated, we talk about our 21 policies. We talk about the fact that, people in Trinidad and Tobago, they know what is wrong. They will talk about it among themselves, but they're just waiting to see what will happen in terms of if we are going to continue spiraling the way we are spiraling. We keep informing them, educating them, empowering them, waking them up to their rights. Because I go back to the minister this morning, when I listened to what he indicated, and I say to people when I'm on 104.7, I said, I want for you, the population, when the candidates, irregardless of what party they belong to, when they come to your door asking for your vote, there are certain questions that you need to ask them because it is an interview. Elections is like where you go and you select candidates or you select somebody to represent you in parliament, right? So you as part of the population, you need to ask the questions. You have to interview them, find out how they are going to fix your community. Because over the years, we have seen where the ministers, they come, they give you, it is alleged, they give out monetary benefits, they give out alcohol benefits, and say, okay, give me a vote. You give them the vote, and what happens? You don't see them.
No, but Janice,
hear
I
from
tried
them
to say
for
this
the
to
rest of
Andy,
the-
but I tried to say this
25
just when
years.
Andy was talking about the land. And I want to say it again, that we need to realize that it is an illegal act to give people inducements for a vote.
Exactly.
The media in this country has provided enough evidence to the Elections and Boundaries Commission and the Director of Public Prosecutions to jail politicians in this country who have handed out and made joke on interviews that we give them 3 blues and a jersey and a cell phone and an iPhone, all kind of stupidness.
That's right.
All
Have
of that.
you ever met anybody who said, yes, I got?
But that is not my job. If that was my
No,
job.
has
But
anybody
if it
ever
was-
said to you, well, you don't go looking for it, but has anybody ever said to you?
Andy, but
yes,
people,
I got?
but people post on Facebook. People post on social media.
They
People
got
say.
money, they got money and stuff, and like, see shit to vote.
Andy, I have worked with people who worked closely with Jack Warner, and Jack Warner out PNM the PNM. The People's Partnership Government blazed a trail.
People told you that.
People told me that, people who worked as part of the campaign. And at the end of the day, all I am saying is there are organizations of state with responsibility to investigate. They have so much smoke. We've been talking for years. Go to a meeting and get your jersey. Jump in it. To put somebody in a maxi taxi, get them a juice and a sandwich and take them to a rally is an illegal
You know,
act.
I used to hear people saying that Kamala Prasad Bissessa could not take any action against Jack Warner because he was holding goods on her, and when she did it, we heard nothing about it. Nothing was.
That's the political bacchanal and noise. But he contributed to the same thing when you look out the window for the Section 34 badge and he say yes, you know, Indians. I mean, it's a stupid, it's an absurdity. It's an absurdity what we allow to pass for politics in this country. And I listen to you and people like you who try to elevate the conversation. We need that thinking to dominate the conversation. We can't go back to Catman and Groomer Man and Pipe and all this nonsense. I mean, our legacy of politics now is of just bacchanal and noise.
Right.
What has elevated the public? What has said? Which political party besides the Progressive Empowerment Party tells the people exactly how you close all these gaps and raise the lowest class? We live in a country where the rich thinks that they alone must eat at the expense of the poor. What happens to those people? What happens to the 7,000 children every year that fails out of our education system every year? Comes out with nothing. What do we think happens to them?
All right, so let's talk about how you get to the point where you will have 36 representatives. Oh, I must say
41.
41. 41 representatives.
We're back to 1986.
Yeah. What is your plan to get there? So that's you don't
Well, we have been doing a lot of walkabouts and going door to door and talking to the people. We have also been looking at the statistics as well, because you need to look at the statistics. And we have been also, we have other ideas in terms of getting the message out. But you see, the important thing is to educate the people because people don't know. Knowledge is power. And once people start waking up and they have the information that is needed, they're going to start thinking. You also have the young people as well out there who are seeing what is going on. And because of our message, they are piling on board.
Yeah, we're changing the narrative.
We're changing the narrative. I mean, I listened to the minister again, and he's talking pep talk.
No, you should have invited him to Clarence Rambarat. You sound like you want to be in the PEP. You should come on board. But Andy was asking you how we plan to get our 41 candidates.
Right.
We have a party organizer, Shari Wilson. She's responsible. Michelle Davis is her deputy chair. Michelle Davis is our shadow MP for San Fernando West. The people of San Fernando West already know their candidate. We've screened candidates already for the general election.
Who's the elected representative in Lambre? This is my comments.
We have caretakers in Labre. We don't have shadow MPs there, but we're building out where we don't have candidates, but we have candidates in certain constituencies, like Anthony Defoe, deputy political leader, who's my co-host on the morning show. He is the candidate for St. Joseph. So we're identifying as we go. We're not waiting for the election bell to ring. The caretakers are walking about, as Janice said yesterday. They were in South, they were in the North. What we're opening are regional headquarters. So what is opening on the 23rd of March at 5 p.m. on 10th Avenue is we're presenting all the caretakers from Diego Martin West to St. Joseph, everything North of Carney. So those 10 constituencies. And we're inviting all the members who want to get more involved to come on the ground, because working the ground, and that's why they work so hard. They want to get a nod. They want to be the candidate and we're going to give it to the person who's demonstrated the most capacity, not just content-wise, but service, who's willing to walk the talk.
And your potentials in Tobago.
Yes, we do, but we're actually in a conversation with, anyway, let's stick a pin there. Stick a pin in that one. Stick a pin in Tobago. You know Tobago.
That's interesting. There's one issue that you're not as
No, we have the Birchwood brothers, and they're based in England, and they have responsibility for Tobago in the party. They're running the Tobago arm of the Progressive Empowerment Party. But Tobago's politics different to Trinidad politics.
Oh, yeah.
And the issue with
What do you
the
mean by that?
but the
I
issue
I hear people say that.
but saying 65% of the people are directly employed by the THA. So you don't want to compromise your cost of living. And that is an illegal act. And there should be an investigation to see if there's a direct connection between THA employment and your vote and the HDC. We have a statute on the books called misbehavior in public office. If you charge people with nothing, charge them with that.
What you mean? So the THA provides jobs for people, but that they don't tell people, well, you know, for these jobs.
The people of the country are afraid of victimization.
They choose not to. I mean, I know it. You know, I mean, years ago we were trying.
We're talking this talk. This is not new. Nothing we're saying here this morning is brand new. But people are afraid of victimization. Business people call me. I want to call some names. I just don't want to put them on the spot and tell me, Philip, you have our support. But if we stand up with you now, right now, before that bell ring, we have nothing to get. And nothing to get in a country. And in a country where the government controls the economy, where the contractors, the real contractors, even subcontract work, electric companies, plumbing companies, they can't step out of their crease. They have to stay and bat, hoping to get what they get regardless of who in office, because that's how it's set up now. The Progressive Empowerment Party advocates that we create a law that stipulates let me just say this one thing, that no public works contract can be awarded in any constituency unless it is awarded to a company from that
Do you
constituency.
think the procurement legislation or the procurement agency that is set up now will make any difference in those things?
We need to redo how we do procurement. Trinidad needs a transparent and robust tenders body that creates an arm's length.
That's what the Office of Procurement.
And you can't have that and have special purpose companies too. You can't continue to have Sport, TT, and EMBD, and EFCL, HTC, VEMCOT. You can't have these companies getting billions vested.
How it is designed, my understanding of how the legislation is designed and how that office is set up is to deal with all of that. That's what they say. You don't accept that.
It's not that I don't accept it. I want to draw you a reference. When we solved the Diego Martin Highway bypass that ended the evening traffic to go to Digger Martin. I want to thank Jack Warner again, because Jack Warner and I have never been friends. But as a minister, he was the only one. I live in Digger Martin, and I know the traffic every evening. We saw
that
that.
at length on the last program.
Right, Jack solved that problem, and I want to thank him for that. But I remember after the problem was solved and the people were giving me so much kudos, Carl Membert said that he had a plan for that 20 years. And I asked Carl, I said, well, what were you waiting on to do it? What were you waiting on? You have any plan?
Yeah, but-
Sri Ramachan came and changed things around because he had a different idea.
Yeah. But you're asking about procurement.
Yes.
We can't keep having plans that are not executed. Look at the antitrust legislation, Andy. That is sitting languishing. We have a plastic containers bill debated, ready to go, languishing. The children's bill was languishing. We had to put 25,000 people in the street to force the government to bring it into law. The dangerous dog.
Just talking about here, cabinet takes decisions and then it is up to other people to make them get active.
How could you say that when this was a country that on a long weekend at night, a government proclaimed a law that it wanted? We've demonstrated that what we want to happen happens.
All right, so we have a minute. Let's go back on the staging of this, the market of what's happening.
Yes, so as you indicated earlier, for anyone out there who are vendors, like myself, who would like to display your goods to the public, this is a great opportunity. We want to make this farm market the must-go-to market in Trinidad, and eventually we'll get started in Tobago at some point. But the whole idea is to bring people to the market, and I also want to mention as well, very important, we are having a used items
Second-hand
section,
bazaar.
second-hand bazaar incorporated into that. So if you're looking for gently used clothes, because I have a lot of clothes in my wardrobe that needs to get thrown out. So you can donate to the
anything.
market, right?
And we have the Toronto and the New York
Yes.
arms. They're sending.
They're sending stuff as well to sell at the pet market.
So at good prices.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's
very
in
impressive.
Lions Civic Center.
Lions
Lions
it's
Cultural.
basically a fundraiser and a line. So
Right. Also, the food court is available, so come and have lunch with us. And there's an area for the kids. We're having a bouncy castle and face painting, and then there's also a vendor who is doing a mini spa. So for those of you who want to get your manicures and pedicures on that day,
and they come down for your pedicure. It's a nice place to get it done.
as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Lance Leon Creaky and Joe Bella.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Thank you.
That's the program for today. Thanks for listening.